Obligatory podcast intro.
Hi, hello, and welcome. This is Flipping Pages with Matt and Adam. I'm Matt with my co-host Adam, and this show is where we take all 73 letters of the alphabet. We put them in a pillowcase. We each draw a letter and then pick a comic that begins with that letter. I don't know his. He does not know mine. Spoilers ahead for these two. I guess maybe not for yours, right?
Barely. The very first story arc.
That's all I know.
There's a whole bunch of issues, so we're not
maybe
spoiling
not.
the entire thing.
So
no.
definitely spoilers for mine. Mm-hmm. And if you feel like it, come on by Instagram at Flipping Pages 24 or Facebook at Flipping Pages with Matt and Adam. Come say what's up.
Shout us hello.
So I got L again.
Yeah. Well, we already cycled through a bunch of times.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is our second cycle through, but I got L, which was cool because there was one I read or I was gonna read last time that I didn't get to, and I read it this time, and it's sick. So, but you got M?
Yeah, I got M.
All right.
This is a comic that populated the 50-cent bin and the dollar bin when I was young.
Ooh.
So the comic that I owned, the number 0 issue, actually came out in 1999. Which is really weird because it's a prelude to the first issue, right?
Yeah.
But to be completely clear, the first issue came out in 1991. So the first issue came out in 91.
Retroactively.
Yeah, they like it's a
prequeled.
Basically. It wasn't a term at the time, and that's what they did.
Right.
So that was the one that they printed a bajillion of. That's why it was in the 50-cent bin or the dollar bin.
Oh, the 0?
Yeah, the 0 issue, the prequel or whatever. So I had the 0 issue, and then I don't remember what other issue.
Damn,
down the line.
These comic book companies been confusing people all these
Since
years.
the beginning. Since the beginning.
Issue 0 of the comic that came out 8 years ago.
Like, wait, where do I start?
Yeah,
like, what am I doing?
What?
Okay, so this comic is called Magnus Robot Fighter.
What?
The version, you have no clue. A lot of people don't. Magnus Robot Fighter is actually a comic from the 1960s. It was from a different company than this one.
Oh, okay.
They basically bought the rights to it.
Oh, okay.
So it was kind of popular in the 60s. So they're Magnus from the 60s and Magnus from the 91, 92. Their origin is basically exactly the same. And the origin is said on this first page of issue 1. This is one of the few times where I'm going to read like a whole paragraph. Right. It explains so much in a concise way that would take me 20 minutes.
I was going to do that.
I took it. You can't do it now.
No, I can't do it.
You're not allowed.
Damn it.
Okay, so like I said, this is published by Valiant in 1991. I didn't have this first issue. I had issue 0. So reading this little story arc, what I remembered from a kid was totally wrong. Like, I was mistaken about this whole comic.
Really?
Yeah, because I was little. I was in elementary school.
Okay.
So it's called Magnus Robot Fighter, published by Valiant in 1991. So the first page starts out.
Who was it written by?
Oh, Jim Shooter.
Jim Shooter.
He's an insanely popular, famous writer, especially back then. I don't remember ever reading anything else by him.
Yeah, I don't
so
remember.
My opinion of him was formed from what memes from the internet. People were like, oh, he writes, whatever, just talking shit about him. During this 4-issue arc, appreciate the hell out of him.
Really?
Though, there were so many little callbacks here and there that were not overstated, not super obvious, and actually came in clutch later.
Yeah.
And the whole writing, this was in the 90s. I felt like there was more dialogue than there would be now.
Oh, yeah.
But it felt pretty
that.
modern.
Oh,
Honestly,
really?
yeah. Because I can't really read
is it
50,
still a
60.
bunch?
It's so many words.
Okay, so
it took me a long time to read this 4-issue story arc. And I had to, I have to read it a bunch of times. It genuinely took, it's like a small book. The 4 that I read would be like a skinny book.
That's crazy.
Because there's like 8 squares on a page usually, and each square is mostly words.
Yeah, it's like you show, don't tell, tell, don't show. They show and tell.
Both.
Like,
okay,
a lot.
so let me get into it because like I could take forever to explain this story. It's not actually going to take forever. Okay, so this is the first page. An infant is rocked with the precision of a pendulum, cradled in arms forged from vanadium steel. A voice without inflection softly sings a lullaby. In a secret undersea base, a runaway robot raises a foundling, which means an orphan. The robot's designation is 1A. The child he calls simply Magnus. So that's the main character. He's
Raised by a robot?
Yeah, a rogue robot.
Okay.
He was basically the first robot to gain sentience.
Oh, shit.
His father's name was 1A. So I'll get into it in a minute, but he's the first sentient robot. And he found the orphan and raised him to be the savior of mankind.
Oh.
Basically, even though he's a
big
robot.
job, a lot of pressure.
Yeah, and he tells him that from like a young age, so
Shit,
it's
bro.
messed up. He handles it like a G, but so 1A believes that humans are better than robots, even though he's like self-aware and basically alive. He still raises Magnus to be the savior of humans.
Oh, the robot is 1A.
Yeah,
I
his
thought-
father.
okay.
His father, basically.
You called him his father.
Yeah,
I
it's
thought you meant the
basically his
robot's father.
No,
Got it.
sorry.
The
I'll
robot
get
is
into
1A.
Yes.
Kid is Magnus.
Magnus. Yeah.
Magnus.
Magnus.
With an-
so
with
they
an N.
on the cover they use like the Roman U where it looks like a V. So when I was little, I tried to pronounce it with like a V in there,
Magnus?
but it's just Magnus. Yeah.
Okay.
So he does that for 20. He raises this orphan child for 25 years. When he's 25 years old, he leaves the confines of 1A's home for the first time and enters the continent-spanning city of North Am, which is entire Canada, entire United States, entire South America is one city.
Oh, wow.
It's all connected.
City?
Yeah, you know how in like Judge Dredd they have big cities?
Yeah, mega city.
Yeah, it's a couple states. No, this is the entire continent of North America is one city now.
Holy crap.
And they're all led by one government.
Oh, that's...
One president. Entire Canada, it's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
It's cool.
That's terrifying.
So, like, when I was a kid, I liked this comic because it's a dude beating up robots.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm a little kid.
Spoilers.
It gets so deep. It gets so deep so quick. All right. He leaves his home.
It sounds like it.
He leaves his home for the first time at 25 years old. He enters North Am. The year is 4000, so 2,000 something years from now.
That's a long time.
North Am is a virtual utopia where all labor is performed by robot workers, but more and more often the robots are betraying their human masters, causing chaos. Having anticipated this danger, 1A trained Magnus to a pinnacle of human physical perfection. So you hear that so many times in like superhero comics when they don't want to like, oh, he's like magical or he's like the strongest man ever. They'll say like superhuman or peak human.
Peak human.
So Captain America, a lot of people, Taskmaster, whatever. So they do that in this. Like, so apparently it's been a trope since the beginning. They
got it from this.
Yeah, 1A becomes the ultimate nemesis of robots, meaning he doesn't use guns. He uses his like karate hands, like knife hands, and he kills robots that have like super steel skin. So like it makes no sense. He's supposed to just be a human, but he trained so much that his hands cut through stuff that's worse than steel, whatever. So anytime a robot goes haywire, when robots are used by evil men, when robots endanger humans, he destroys them. Acclaimed as a hero, Magnus enjoys the favor of the city's leaders. So the city is the whole continent. So it's got a set of like senators, but it also has a president who overlooks. They love Magnus because he solves all their problems that they can't solve with the robots.
So he's like Punisher for robots and like criminals.
Yeah, he's
I guess robot criminals.
Robots. So he never wants to kill a living thing as long as he can avoid it, no matter what. His father was like, "You're killing robots murder? Robots are machines," and like corrects him. And it's like, I would never condone killing a living thing.
Okay.
And so he only kills robots.
He's
machines.
brought up good.
Yeah, his father, the first sentient robot, like is a good dad. Basically, we learned that throughout this. So he gets the favor of the city, and that's how it was since the 1960s. So in the 1960s, they had 21 issues of Magnus Robot Fighter back then with that same origin story.
Okay.
And then they used that exact same origin story, but past that, the entire story is different. So they updated it.
Okay.
They for the 90s, because like I said, it ended sometime in the 60s. It was dead. Valiant bought it, and they rebooted it in the 90s. And they got Jim Shooter, who even at the time was super famous and a big name. So
got it.
It was supposed to be their almost flagship title.
Yeah.
Like he crossed over with all the other Valiant characters.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did. The artist I want to mention it because I was gonna forget is Art Nichols. So the art by Art Nichols.
Art by Art.
Yeah. So that almost
Cool.
confused me. But art by Art Nichols. It's amazing. The full page, anything that's full page is just an absolute work of art. Whenever it's a million little tiny boxes like it used to be, it's not as impressive.
Yeah.
But it's still cool.
With giant one page.
It's like, the full page looks amazing.
Put it in a YouTube video.
Oh, I am. I'm not going to skip like so many little box pages to like linger on the big ones.
Look at this.
So this 4 issue, if I tried to explain everything that happened in this 4 issues, we'd be here for, because I'm good at estimating, 2 hours. If I really truly explained all the back and forth and the minutia that happens in this comic. Because like I said, every single little square at the most has at the least has, a paragraph of writing.
A lot.
So much happens so quick in this comic. In 4 issues, it sets up the entire new universe. So this is the well done, amazing setup of this Magnus Robot Fighter's reboot. So they got Jim Shooter, and they're like, we need you to do your best. I'm sure they paid him a bunch of money at the time.
I hope so.
Yeah, and he kind of killed it, bro. And Art Nichols, the artist, he worked with what he had and kind of killed it. So the very beginning, I'll actually get into what goes on now. At the very beginning, Magnus is sitting with his father, the robot 1A, and he asked the story of their 1A's creation and his training. So it's a blatant excuse to give exposition and catch people up.
Yeah.
So he retells him the story, and while he's retelling Magnus the story, Magnus is like correcting him every once in a while, or cutting him off and finishing the story. So obviously he knows the story, but he thinks something's up with the story. He's like, this seems weird, like the series of events, like now that he's a 25-year-old finally, he's starting to put together like maybe my dad's lying to me or something like that. And I was like, oh, I bet they don't do anything with that. And it already kind of comes into play in the 4 issues that we're talking about.
Nice.
Everything that is brought up as important in this comic gets brought up later in this 4-issue arc. And I loved it. Because older comics aren't like that. They're kind of jump from this, jump to that. Nothing's connected.
True.
Action scene. But this is, oh my God, they have characters in the background that show up later and like are kind of important. I was like, that's dope. So Magnus, like now he's been up top in North Am for, I don't know, a year or 2.
So they still love him in the reboot?
Yeah.
Like
the whole beginning is exactly the same.
City, sorry.
A continent. It's a whole continent that's one city. They all love him. He's basically adored by everybody. He's the hero. There's not any other like superhero type people.
Right.
The world's a utopia. People don't work or do anything.
So
Robots do everything.
There's not a poor section of North Am.
So there's a ground floor where they're not controlled by the government. They're the free people. They're called the Goths, and they come in real important later.
Okay.
They speak in a dialect that's so dumb and hard to understand. Even though I reread the thing 4 or 5 times, a couple of the people's dialogue throughout it is basically gibberish.
Oh.
When they use future speak, like, people would talk different in the future. They do a little bit, so you can still at least understand what's going on.
Yeah, you're not
Every single word
lost.
is replaced. Every single word is a slang word,
so
you have no clue what's going on.
Yeah.
So that was the only thing in pretty much the whole comic where I was like, that's annoying. Besides that, I loved every part of this comic. So like I said, he's been living upstairs for like, I don't know, a year or 2. He's 25 or 26 years old. He's basically a super hot, super in shape superhero. So he has a girlfriend who is the daughter of a senator. The senator's name is Senator Klein, and his daughter's name is Leja, or Leja. I'm going to go with Leja. Leeja. So I say Leja.
Leja.
And how Leja?
Leja.
Yeah, Leja sounds better. More like a name.
Yeah, it does.
An actual name. They're trying to be futuristic, whatever. That's his girlfriend, and she's the daughter of a one of the third person in charge of the whole continent. So he's just beloved by everybody. There's cameras everywhere. When he kills a robot, it's like on the news instantly. And people are cheering. Yeah, mess up them malfunctioning pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Because to them, they're just robots.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right.
And when I was a kid, I remember him just breaking robots and beating them up. Real quick, they introduced his compassion for the robots that have free will. Like I said, when I was a kid, I was like, yeah, he like really beats up robots. In this 4-issue arc, it gets real deep and like people change in 4 issues.
Yeah,
it's so cool. So we see T1, his father, explain.
A1.
Yeah, you're right. 1A.
1A.
His
Shit,
father's
we
name
both
is
fucked it
1A.
up.
Yeah, his father's 1A. There's another robot called T1.
A1.
So his father 1A predicted that a bunch more free will robots would come up in the next few years. That's why he trained Magnus to take care of him.
Right.
He wanted to protect humans.
Mm-hmm.
And so
The rebellion.
within his father's 400 years old.
Oh, shit.
So he like predicted this a long time ago, finally trained Magnus up. And within the next few years, so many free will robots came up. And at one point, there's a huge surge of energy, and it creates an insane amount of free will robots. That's usually
it's hard to say.
Yeah, it is.
Free will robots.
Say it quick.
Free will robots. Yeah,
You
that's
did it
not-
a couple times. That
I
wasn't
did it
bad.
twice. It's not easy.
So at one point, there's like a few free will robots, and then all of a sudden, there's 10 million
Oh,
free
shit.
will robots all at one time. There's a giant power surge, and whatever 10% of whatever's out there, they turned into full, basically humans in a robot body. So Magnus's father is telling him all this stuff, like explain. It's exposition.
Yeah.
So we get all the backstory about Magnus being a hero. He loves his girlfriend, who's a senator's daughter, whatever. And now we finally see a new leader comes to the front of the free will robots. His name is 01X. He's the main.
I got a cool name.
Yeah, 01X. All robots have like a couple letters and a couple numbers as their name. There's a bunch of different kinds of robots, so whatever. But he becomes a free will robot, and he's like the smartest one around. Mm-hmm. And he basically becomes Che Guevara. You know what I mean? Like a guerrilla leader. Guerrilla. A guerrilla leader.
Guerrilla leader of the free will robots.
So almost all the robots that gained free will were smart enough to stay quiet.
I was going to say, do they all get together?
And they started gathering together and creating underground.
Oh, shit.
I'm pretty sure they just call it underground.
Yeah.
We start out with all that exposition. We learn about 01X leading the underground guerrilla movement now. And Magnus meets his girlfriend, Leisha, on a rooftop. All the rich people live up high.
Right.
All the people that the goths live at ground level, they don't have any like nice things at all. They're like, but they're not monitored at all. So you remember in Demolition Man?
I was literally thinking,
people, we're free. We eat rats. We don't care because we're free. We're not monitored.
Hey, he said it
Same
was the
thing.
best burger he ever had.
It's meat.
Yeah.
Bro.
Meat burger,
You
yeah.
do meat right. Meat's good.
It's either that or Taco Bell.
Nope.
Only
little
Taco
tiny
Bell.
squares of like sauce.
Fancy new age.
I would be
Taco
like
Bell.
him, bro. I'd be like, I hate this place.
But when you said underground, I thought of Demolition Man and Fifth Element.
There you go.
Because it's raised.
The longer, the lower you go, then the worse it is.
gets, basically.
So that's exactly how it is in this. Like I said, this came out in '91. So like it's
preceded those.
Yeah. So they're landing on top of a building like way up high in the air, and a gardening robot driving a gardening truck sees Magnus. He's a free will robot, and he's like,
You're getting better.
yeah, I'm gonna slow it down and I'll get it every time now. 01X had told them Magnus is our number one enemy. We don't want to slaughter just random humans.
We want him.
01X is not a bad robot. Mm-hmm. He doesn't want war. He doesn't want to have to kill any humans. He just wants recognition that they are alive. Mm-hmm. So that's the main argument.
Because they have free will.
They have free will, whatever. And they all kind of like, there's a bunch of times where like, they ask, what makes you think you're alive? And they're like, well, I get scared of things. I don't want to do things I'm told. I want to be a musician. Like robots are saying that. And then the humans are like, no, they're just a malfunctioning robot.
Yeah.
But Magnus, because he was raised by a super intelligent free will robot, is more sympathetic to these robots that he is destined or has to kill.
Created.
He's more sympathetic to them than everyone. So that was amazing.
That's
this came out
pretty
in
cool,
'90, and like I had never read, like I said, a Jim Shooter comic that I could remember. And this is cool, man.
Keep my eye out for some Jim Shooter stuff.
So like they're on the roof. The gardening robot tries to kill him. There's a cool fight, and you get to see. This is like only the second time you get to see Magnus fight a robot. You see like a flashback where he fights a little bit, but you see him just absolutely destroy this gardening robot. So now him and his girlfriend go to the very bottom of the city, the ground floor. They call it Goth territory. Everybody wears cloaks and stuff, and it's just a lawless apocalypse wasteland, basically.
Fun spot.
Yeah, it's cool. So they go down there, and they're trying to find where the underground of the robots are. Magnus still wants to take out the robots. His girlfriend is the daughter of the senator. They're all super anti-robot, trying to take out the robots. Well, her senator father gets back to his office, and 01X is there, and he's like trying to negotiate.
Is he in his chair? With
He
his
is.
feet?
Oh my God, you know exactly.
Nice. Hell yeah.
I think he spins around. Let me see.
That's cool.
Oh, they don't show him spin around, but he's in the chair with his feet on his table.
Say, is the feet up?
Yep.
Hell yeah. That's awesome.
So Jim Shooter is very cinematic. So like where you think it's gonna go, the action or something, it's probably gonna go there.
Cool.
But they have a little conversation, and as they're having the conversation, 01X is like, I don't want to war. I just want recognition that we're alive. Let us secede, basically, and have our own area. Leave us alone. He's like, y'all are malfunctioning robots. Like, I'm not going to listen to anything you say. But then 01X is like really smart and like kind of tricking him. He's like, you could become president, because he's only senator. He's like third or fourth in a row. And he was like, you could get popular and become actual president. So this 01X is smarter than an average human would be, basically, and way more self-aware. I'm going to skip a bunch there. And then, like I said, Magnus and his girl Olivia went to the ground floor of the Goth level. They find the underground, and they listen to a meeting. So there's like 60,000 robots underground, and they're having a giant meeting. And 01X actually shows up. He like never shows up because he's boss. He shows up, and he's trying to explain to everybody, I tried to negotiate. I tried to fix this. We're probably going to have to fight. And then Magnus just hops down.
Hello there.
Yeah, almost. Very close. And everybody's about to kill him because there's, like I said, 10,000, 60,000 robots. No matter how badass he is, if they weren't...
Numbers,
if
bro.
what happened didn't happen, he would have died. So 01X is like, no, he obviously wants to talk. He like is not trying to kill us. If he really wanted to kill it, he would have bombed us, whatever.
Yeah.
So they have a little discussion. He's like, we don't want war. He was like, Magnus was like, I don't want war with you. I want you to be recognized as living, and you go do your thing, and we'll keep the robots that are not sentient. They'll be our servants. Anytime a robot's sentient, they're allowed to go to your country.
They can bounce.
Magnus was like
bounce.
Magnus was like a political genius because his father was so smart. 1A, the first
400
free
years
will robot around, was trained the whole time. They're like basically negotiating. They're about to come to a agreement, and this douchebag guy, his name's Tim Buck. Timbuc, and they portray him as the most annoying asshole ever in the history of the world. So people that are like generals and stuff command an insane, huge army of robots. So there's only like one person for every like 8,000 robots or something. So he's so high up, and he's like so a general. He just like stands in the back, and he tells not even humans, robots, to go do his bidding. And Magnus is almost getting to a resolution with 01X.
Yeah.
Tim Buck busts in and starts just murdering robots. And now they're like, Magnus, it was a trap from Magnus.
Yeah.
He was tricking us. He was just delaying us.
Yeah,
this was his
say
fault.
they don't trust him now.
Nope. So he was trying to come to a very reasonable solution.
He was legit.
He's basically, like I said, peak human everything.
So they were following
01X?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Magnus.
No, he told him where it was.
Forgot his name.
Yeah,
for
he told him not to do anything until he gave a
a
signal.
What a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
So, come on, don't say nothing.
So he says that. Magnus is like, Tim Buck, you motherfucker, what did I tell you? And he goes, well, you told me to wait to your signal, but you didn't respond, so I figured you were in trouble. And so, like, he wasn't trying to be a dick.
Yeah.
It's very makes sense.
But he was working with them, kind of. I would be pissed.
Yeah, so they don't know at this exact moment that Magnus has even, like, tried to negotiate with the robots.
Oh.
They just busted in because they didn't have communication with them. So, like I said, his girlfriend, Olivia, was there. I didn't say, but she's like slightly psychic. It's not that big a deal, but she like reads people's minds. But the robots know that that's his girlfriend. So when they can't kill him, when they all swarm him, when the Tim Buck and the rest of the army droids come in. They're like trying to kill Magnus, and they're like, we can't. And you have one weakness, and they see Leisha. So one of the robots climbs up there, gets Leisha, and tells Magnus to surrender. And Magnus like tries to get to her, and he pulls her off panel and like snaps her in two. Bro.
Oh damn, he's
the
that
robot,
strong. Him and the robot are that
even
strong?
a regular like waiter robot is strong enough to like rip a regular person apart.
Damn.
So this
him
is
and
like
the
a big robot,
Crazy.
and he couldn't get there in time, and the robot like smashed.
Oh, the robot does.
Yeah, the robot smashed his girlfriend in
he
half.
Smashed his girlfriend.
Ripped her in half, or broke her in half is what happened.
Yeah.
Kind of like bends her back to her head to her butt, basically, and then he throws her off like a 10-story building or something.
Jesus.
And Magnus hops down, and then she starts yelling at Tim Buck, like trying to save Leisha. And
Trying to save what?
Yeah, so this is 2,000
Oh,
years
yeah,
from
they
now.
got some fancy
so they
healing
call it like reconstruction or something. It's
okay.
full on. She was almost dead. Her
Yeah.
back was completely broken. Like a bunch of her organs were failing.
But she's
and
all still together.
They completely saved her, and eventually, like within a few days, she's completely normal
Oh
again.
wow.
So like while she's in the hospital, Magnus is going out trying to stop all these rogue robots, all the self-aware robots. And as he's doing that, he like hasn't slept yet. So he passes out after knocking out a bunch of robots, and a government worker is told to bring him home so he can rest. And it's a chick. And so throughout the entire story, it's a running like joke or whatever that every single chick in entire
Just wants him.
Everybody, like
Yeah.
they all love him. They're constantly trying to get with him, like overtly, and they all know he's with that chick.
Yeah.
So like it's like a joke basically. So
You did say he was hot.
yeah, no, because it was important. Like
Right.
literally every chick in this entire thing is trying to get with him.
Nice.
I'm gonna skip a good bunch because, like I said, so much happens in this. Now she's back. Leisha's back to normal. They're having a party to celebrate.
It's like that was crazy.
It was like a week or something.
Oh wow.
But they're super rich too.
Yeah,
if you weren't
it's-
super rich, you still would probably
it's
would
a
have died or
senator's
something.
daughter or
Yeah,
so.
exactly. So they're out to eat at a very fancy restaurant, and a intelligent, self-aware robot named what is it? W23. Yeah, it becomes one of the only other main characters in this entire comic. Is a waiter robot named W23.
I
Is
am
assigned.
WD-40.
Yeah, he is assigned to kill Magnus because they know he's going to be at this restaurant. He overhears Magnus talking mad shit to the senator and everybody around because he doesn't want to kill robots anymore. He's like changed sides basically. And they're like, screw them robots. Magnus will kill them all, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I don't like you. That's murder. Like at this point, he's like done. But since his girl Leisha just got like broken in half by a robot, she's extra prejudiced against robots now.
Well, yeah,
so now
I
they
mean-
have totally opposite feelings, and that becomes like an issue for sure.
I'm sure.
Everything that happens in here comes
Like,
back in some way or another.
And it makes sense too.
Yeah, they switch.
It's not like she's just over there all quiet, like, yeah, for
She's
you know,
her own
rights.
character in this. Jim Sterling
Right.
or Jim Shooter can write actual female characters.
Nice.
For real. So W23 is supposed to kill Magnus, but he overhears Magnus saying this, and he decides not to because he has his own free will.
Free
And-
will robot.
Yeah, exactly. And so he jumps out the window and runs away. Or
Ugh.
they jump. They don't have a gender at all. They're robots.
Yeah.
They jumped out the window and ran away, and Magnus
Use
let
the-
them basically.
Use
So
the front door, man. Damn.
nah, they were gonna. The other robots were ordered to kill him.
right.
It didn't have to be Magnus. So Magnus goes home and he's hanging out, and his normal like butler robot is turned off, and he's like, "Why are you turned off?" And W23 comes out of one of the rooms, and he's like, "I turned him off so we wouldn't get caught or whatever." And he goes, "What are you doing here?" And he goes, "I overheard what you were saying." W23 overheard what Magnus was saying. He goes, "I think you would have been the only one of the few people on Earth that wanted to hear what I had to say." He goes, "We're very similar. I heard you say you have to kill robots, but you don't want to. I was assigned to kill you, and I don't want to. We have a lot in common. Maybe there's a middle ground besides every human dying and every robot dying." And Magnus is like, "Yeah, that's what I want." And as he's hanging out, they are hanging out, Magnus realizes that W23 has a vibration that's noticeable with his really acute eyes, which distinguishes him from a regular robot. So he figures out how to spot him out of a crowd because there's so many free will robots.
Him specifically?
Yeah,
or
just
free
Magnus.
will?
Oh, no, all free will robots.
That's what I was
They
asking,
have like a whole paragraph of nonsense, garble sci-fi words, but they have a vibration that you can see if you notice, basically. So he goes, W23 goes, oh, crap, I gave you the ability to pick us out of a crowd. Now you could kill all of us. And he goes, that's not what I want. He's like, I'm not going to tell anybody. He's like, I could tell the government right now and you'll be wiped out within hours or whatever.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to do it. So his girl Olivia shows up and like I said, she reads minds, and he's suppressing the fact that he was talking to that robot. So she thinks he's cheating on her because he's suppressing his thoughts.
Yeah.
She goes, "You were trying to cheat on me," and deuces out because they had that argument earlier.
Right,
Their difference in opinion.
They're not on good terms right
So
now.
Magnus is up on his giant 2-kilometer high rooftop, like hanging out right after she left, and then there's like it's half a page of just 7,000 robots in a line flying down to kill him.
Oh,
so
shit.
all the fight scenes from here on is Magnus fighting uncountable amounts of robots. It's not like he fights one robot at a time. You literally can't count how many robots are attacking him at one time.
Shit.
And this is where the art and the storyboarding gets really good. These fight scenes flow from one place to the next. He's destroying this robot and then destroying that robot. Just dope. So good. The
Sounds
artist,
awesome.
Art Nichols, he killed it. Absolutely killed it. So he fights off a bajillion friggin' robots and he runs away. As he's running away, the government's like, "You're getting arrested for being a traitor." And he's like, "What?" And we saw a video of you talking to 01X, the leader or whatever. You let him go. And he goes, "Don't even try to stop me." And they're like, maybe we won't try to stop him because they know he'll just murder
he's
everybody.
Beast.
So this is the beginning of the third issue. This is the point where all the self-aware robots were told to no longer pretend to be obedient. So they all run away. They all start fighting their guerrilla war. So there was only a few, like 1 million or 2 at the beginning because the rest were hiding.
Yeah.
Now there's like 10 million.
Holy shit.
And they all run away from their masters and then like their owners or whatever. And they just start messing the loyal robots up because they can think themselves. And like all the loyal robots can do is listen to their masters and whatnot. So the regular or the self-aware robots are kind of whooping up on the human loyal.
Makes sense. It's a line of defense as well because they can just be told, go kill them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we have another part where Magnus jumped off the roof to get away from those bajillion 7,000 robots, and he landed down on the golf level, basically ground floor, and he runs into W23, the like waiter robot from the restaurant that met him up. Blah,
Supposed
blah.
to kill him.
Oh yeah, my bad. It wasn't. I said it was 01X that showed up. It was not. It was W23 that showed up at his apartment.
Yeah, that's what
Okay.
Yeah, you said that.
Okay, good.
The only time you brought up 01X is when you said the army or the government had video of him talking to him.
Yeah,
So-
I was mistaken. It was W23.
I thought it might be, because they just spoke to each other.
You're right. That was the only part. So they actually meet up at the golf level, and W23 saves Magnus at one point, like from hostile robots and stuff. So they kind of hang out, and they have like a long discussion about robots and being alive and stuff. It's
And
cool.
then they fuck.
If they could,
You think
they would have. Okay, because like
Nice.
we're wrapping up, and this is where it starts getting real interesting.
Okay.
Okay, it does. It really does. So now
Let's get to
the
it.
president of North America, or the entire
Northam.
the entire multi-continent, and the rest of the senators, they're called senators, and their loved ones go to the main hub of where it's like main Rob. It's got a dumb name. It's where their giant AI runs all their loyal robots.
Okay.
So it's the most important place to protect.
Skynet.
Yes, the Skynet Central or whatever.
Right, yeah.
Exactly. Or what was it called in the Matrix? The Source or something?
The Source.
I don't fucking remember.
Well, that was Robot City.
Yeah, whatever.
Architect.
Same thing. And so they're all
Source.
kind of hiding, at the most important point because it's the most well defended. They have billions of loyal robots like surrounding it because it's the most important point in all of Northam. And we see them kind of like arguing, how are we safe? We have robots around still. And they're like, no, all the disloyal ones took off, blah, blah, blah. They know all our moves. They're taking out all the regular robots. I think we have spies in here. Like, we have no way of figuring it out because Magnus didn't tell them about the vibration or whatever. So they're just kind of hanging out and like arguing. Then all of a sudden, like an entire like cadre of self-aware robots show up and just start murking everybody. They shoot the president first.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so the president dies right here.
Oh, damn.
They kill a bunch of like senators and whatnot, but our main Senator Klain, Lisia's father, makes it out, of course.
Yeah.
And this is where they introduce another character who's like a golf scavenger. She's another strong female.
There's got to be a golf character.
Yeah, she was a female, but this is where I could not understand any of the slang. I read through 4 times, and I was actually getting upset about it because she's like a main character for the rest. She meets Magnus at one point, and she meets all our main characters from now on. She has a role to play with the rest of the main characters. So Magnus is basically almost dead after helping fight off all the self-aware robots that are attacking.
A rack of them.
So he gets saved, and they start scanning his brain and helping him heal quickly. So this is the one part I didn't say earlier, and I'm actually glad. His father, 1A, the robot, one of the first self-aware robots, put a special chip/computer in his head so he can receive the special robot signal that only other robots can hear. So it's his trump card. Nobody else knows that he has this ability. He never told a single robot person anything. So he can listen in when he's around robots, and he can get a edge from that. And so they're like helping him recover, and they have this big scanner on his brain, and they find out at the very beginning of the comic, 1A tells him, don't ever tell anybody about the computer in your brain. It'll come back to haunt you. It's like the first page or two. I go, I bet that comes back.
Oh, yeah.
And it does. So they scan his brain. They find out he's got this computer in his brain. That's important for the very end. So now we got W23 and 01X meet up. So 01X is not where the main robo brain or whatever attack is. He's doing his own thing. His own thing is finding the second free will robot that ever existed who wanted to destroy all humans. Oh. So 1A was very sympathetic to humans, whereas T1 wanted to completely destroy all humans. He was a thinking robot. So like 01X was like just a regular robot. T1 was the smartest AI that had basically ever been created. Before he even became self-aware, he was way smarter than any human. Oh, so 01X brings
like Google.
The original Google.
Yeah.
He brings W23 to his corpse, to T1's corpse, or what's left of it. And he goes, what are we doing? W23 goes, what are we doing? He goes, I want to put parts of T1 into my brain so I can be as smart as him, and then I can be a better leader, and we can figure this out. He goes, I need you to do surgery on me and put these parts in me. But if I reboot, because if you reboot any free will robot, they'll turn back into a no free will robot. So this is the leader, 01X. He goes, if I turn back into that, kill me. So W23 does what he says. He tries to connect T1's pieces. He accidentally reboots him, so he kills him for him. So at this point, near the end of the comic, our leader, 01X, is dead because W23 Mercy killed him because he got rebooted.
Yeah.
So the scavenger lady shows up out of nowhere on like sub-level whatever, real far down. And she says a bunch of nonsense words that I have no comprehension of. And W23 goes, hey, I need a little help. Help me fix myself, and you can have all this technology because I know you're a junker, and that's how you make your money. So she goes, okay. So she fixed W23. I said X23. Fixed W23, and they took off to go back up to the main levels. And she's like, man, I got all this technology. I'm just a human. It's heavy. I can't carry it myself. So she sees the dead 01X on the table, and she's like, his brain's kind of messed up, but I can like just get him to be like a tool, like, and then he can help me carry all this stuff. So she reconnects some things, and like the next panel, you see him about to bust her in the head. So he comes back, and he's no longer rebooted or whatever.
Yeah.
Now he has free will again.
So he got rebooted, killed, and then comes back free will
again. And so he knocks her out, and this is where the W23 weird stuff comes in. So, like I said, Magnus has to hide down on the Goth level because it's one of the few places that's not monitored. So he goes to the meeting place that him and W23 were using to always meet up on the Goth level. When he shows up, W23 no longer looks like a waiter robot. He looks like the sexiest metal shiny skin lady who has the exact same face of his girlfriend, Leisha.
Oh, what?
Because she knows, or it knows, whatever, the robot knows. And he said, I had to pick a face, and I know everybody loves her face, so people would be nicer to me, whatever. That's her its excuse or whatever, but it's because it loves Magnus already.
Yeah.
So
I knew that was coming.
Yeah. So it wants to
felt
be
it.
sexy for Magnus.
I can feel it.
And he's like about to say like you're beautiful almost. Like there's sexual tension like within the first like couple panels. And then as like they're about to like kiss, he holds her chin. I'll put it in the YouTube video. He like lifts her chin like a romantic comedy. He looks like he's about to kiss her, and then all of a sudden they get a message over the special robot channel that only Magnus and other robots can intercept.
Right.
01X made it to the central robot brain or whatever and connected because he beat up and got away. And obviously the robots let him in because they're all on his side. So Magnus finds out because he can understand and listen to it. Yeah. He's like, all right, I got to go stop this. He's like, I don't want there to be war or whatever, but I got to go fix this, whatever. But W23 shows up first because they want to like negotiate. She's like, we should do something about this. Let's negotiate with the humans. We don't need to wipe them all out, whatever. And at this point, 01X is like, nope, I was down to negotiate for a long time. We're going to wipe out every single human being until they give us full autonomy. Ooh. So he brings in all the senators that are left over, and he puts out like a video channel and goes, we're going to kill 10 people in the first hour if you don't give up. But in the next hour, we're going to kill 100 people. And then after that, we're going to kill 1,000 people. And we'll keep exponentially going up until we kill 1 billion humans. And then we'll negotiate again. Damn. So they're about to kill all the senators that left. And the senator's like, let me talk to everybody. I'll try to calm them down. And maybe we can get your terms met. So the senator, Klain, Leisha's dad or whatever. Mm-hmm. And because he's like, basically, he's the president now because everybody else died.
They all died. So
yeah, he all died.
You said third or fourth in line.
Exactly. So, like I said, W23 tries to negotiate with 01X or whatever. They're like, no, we're just going to murder them all. Like, you're done. So Magnus is sneaking into, like, the robot central, basically. But they find out and figure out that he's sneaking in and that he can understand and has the computer in his head. So they're like, all sentries on level 12, evacuate to level 15. So he's like, oh, it'll be completely empty. It's a trick. It's a trap. So they get him on a level with, like I said, every time he fights robots from the early on, it's just the whole page. The whole page is robots. Yeah, like it fills
swarms.
Like I said, the one time the demons, it was like Legion. Mm-hmm. This is Legion of robots.
Yeah,
like the whole page is completely. Because normally on the older comics they have like 6 or 8 little panels. On the fighting pages, there's only a few panels per page,
and it's just
it's full of robots, and it's just him swinging them around and destroying other ones.
So cool,
really good action. So he's fighting them, trying to get in and take out 01X. Because 01X, is, like I said, is going to kill all the humans.
Right, yeah. He's over it.
Yeah.
That fool's on.
Yeah, he's done.
I'm done.
He's like, I tried.
I fucking tried.
So W23, the hot silver robot now.
We say it now. She's hot.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
bad.
She goes in to save Leisha. Because Magnus is like, I need you to sneak in and save Leisha. And because, I didn't even tell you. So W23's human name that was given to them by that scavenger woman, her human name is Tekla, Tekla. So from now on, she goes as Tekla.
Okay.
And she looks like a chick, just like on like a, I don't know, hard rock cover or something.
Yeah.
It's all silver and
Android.
shit. Yeah. So she actually saves, completely gets his girlfriend Leisha out.
Nice.
And for a while, we don't see Leisha. Actually, for a while, we think Leisha's dead because we don't hear from them for a while. So now Magnus is getting real close to 01X. He's fighting like his vanguard, the biggest, most badass robots. And they're like kind of beating him up, but he's like, nah, dog, I got this.
Yeah.
He murks the biggest combat robots, and he gets close, and he friggin' chops 01X's head off.
Oh, damn.
And as soon as he does that, basically all the robots kind of shut down. Even like the free will ones. Like, they still have free will, but they can't move for a minute. Or they're like stunned.
Yeah.
Either like stunned or something. So they have time. The humans are like, oh, we can get away or whatever. And they're like, let's kill all these robots because now they're stunned. And Magnus is like, no more killing. So he beats up Tim Buck, the asshole from earlier.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
he beats him up, and the senator now thinks he's a traitor. He's like, you are a traitor, Magnus. I saw that you helped him, even though he did / kind of didn't.
Yeah.
So the Klein guy is just straight up being an asshole now. So he goes, you are not welcome in North Am anymore. So he goes down to Golf City to the bottom where they're actually free, and he sees Tekla across the sewage river. He's like, what are you doing? You're not on the right side. This is where we meet. And she was like, I'm going to say she because she took a female form.
Yeah.
And she goes, I learned a lot about love because you explained it to me. I think I understand it now. You sacrifice things for those you love. The free will robots need a new leader. And she said, I'm a moderate. I think I can do it. I think this is my destiny. I did love you, Magnus. Goodbye.
Oh.
And it's like waves by across like a giant sludge river. And as we've seen, Magnus can jump off 2 kilometers of building and find a way to not die.
Yeah.
So I guarantee you could get across a sludge friggin' river.
Probably could.
But they like have like a happy goodbye. Nobody's crying except for maybe Tekla might be crying a little bit on the inside. So they
Leaking
separate.
oil.
So we see Tekla like a million way under the Goff area, like the sub levels. And she is walking through like a forest. It's like the only place that there's nature. She's walking through a forest, and she walks up on Leisha, who's alive. They escape together, and they're running off together. They're not like in love or anything, but they don't both want to help people now. Leisha doesn't want to kill all robots. She wants to experience the world. She knows she was a weak, sheltered, spoiled brat before, and she wants to be tough like Tekla is. So it's kind of the same situation as 1A raising Magnus.
Yeah.
It's a self-aware robot teaching a human to be badass. So I like I said, these took me so long to read. Otherwise, I would have read 1 or 2 issues.
Sounds like
after
a lot
it.
happened. Real quick, did they have any relationship they showed that you just skipped over?
The grabbing her chin and about to like make
Tekla and Ekja, or what's her name? Ezja.
Leisha?
Leisha.
Yeah,
Leisha
no. She just saves her. Tekla saves Leisha.
And that's it?
Yeah. That's it.
And then you said they were gone
and
for
then
a
they
while.
talk. Yeah, they're gone. And then they at the end, there's a little bit of exposition about, I want to be tough. I want to learn from you. And then the robot Tekla is like, well, I have a lot to learn from you too. So they're going to like teach each other and become better people. But at the very end, I thought that was the actual end. It shows Magnus listening to the new robot updates that are going out to all the controlled robots. And you see him laying down on a surgical table. It looks like the surgical tables from Star Wars with like a bunch of random arms and needles and shit.
Yeah.
They took from that. So he lays down on the table and it cuts his head open. They use like basically black and white, so it's not like too graphic. It shows a bunch of knives and like grabbers and stuff, and it cuts open his skull and yanks out the computer chip from the inside. And then the absolute last, oh no, not the last frame. It shows him just bleeding everywhere where it just like stapled his head open. He crushes the computer system with his hand, and he's like, I'm done. He goes, I'm not getting told what to do from my father from 1A. I'm not listening to anybody. I'm free now. And then it shows him with a bandana walking through Goff territory, like the free place.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, is that Magnus? And like, no, it couldn't be him. And he's like, walking like Conor McGregor at the end of it, all strutting. And that's the actual last panel. He's like, in his little, he's wearing a skirt, by the way, like future people. You remember the very beginning of Star Trek? The new one where the dudes were wearing skirts all the time.
I think so.
He's wearing like that. So there's like shorts under his skirt, but on that it's like a skirt. It looks like a skirt because it's the future and you don't have to wear Superman, whatever. Yeah. But he's just walking down the street with his red unitard skirt with a white belt, and people are like, oh, that's that badass. He's so cool, and that's how this first story arc ends.
Our pant technology is light years
ahead.
Light years ahead of yours.
So I waited all the way to the end to do How Are the Faces.
This is our segment, How Are the Faces.
How are the faces?
What is that?
That's our
no.
What do you call that?
Don't ever do that.
That's
again.
our sting. That's our radio show sting.
How are the faces?
Oh, you're talking about the little intro.
Yeah. They call it a sting or whatever.
I got it.
But I waited till the end. Honestly, the whole art I really did enjoy. And the faces, even though they were very simple and like sci-fi, I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah.
I could tell pretty much who everybody was. If the lighting was too extreme, it became a little bit harder. Mm-hmm. Or if their colors were reversed because the artist, Art Nichols or whatever, he definitely got loose with it on the colors and perspectives and stuff. He did kill it though.
Yeah.
So the faces were dope. Honestly, there's tons of human faces and even a ton of robot faces.
I noticed that. On
all
some
their
of the
head
pages,
shapes were mostly different. That's how they distinguish between
that too, yeah.
one robot. And they did have a number and a letter designation.
Some of them didn't. I saw a few that didn't.
By the end, some of them were wearing clothes, so they could tell the self-aware robots.
Look at my clothes. Can't you tell?
Yeah, which is weird because they're the ones that hated humans.
Robot.
They're the ones that hated humans, yet they're... So the robot says, hey, you need to wear human trappings. So they do acknowledge that they're not happy about wearing clothes, but it's the only way they can distinguish between friend and foe. So they're wearing like hoodies and like ponchos and stuff by the end. Jewelry. A bunch of them are wearing like bracelets and necklaces and stuff, which is one of the first indications of not necessarily self-awareness, but intelligence or like
monkeys have started wearing jewelry now in the jungles. They make it. They make puka shells and stuff.
Puka shells, yeah.
Those are in the jungles. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Okay. It was good. I know what you meant.
It was an awesome story. I enjoyed it. Just listening, I thought it was awesome.
So, like I said, the original series came out through the 60s for, I think they said around 10 years. The version I read that started in the 90s had a whole bunch of issues. I recommend get them. When I looked them up on the internet, the first few issues were semi-expensive because they were the first option they showed. But basically all the other issues are $3, $4, $10, whatever.
And digital, you
could
cheaper.
So just look into it. And then they did a reboot in like 2007, 2008, something like that. They brought him back because Valiant got bought by DC or Image, somebody, and they were like, we have all these characters, let's do a reboot. Ninjak, I think it was Bloodshot. Like there was quite a few.
Okay.
I can't remember all their characters, but they did almost all get reboots in the 7, 8, something like that. I read a couple of those graphic novels because I recognized Valiant because they used the same like logo, and I was like, holy crap! I remember Valiant from the dollar bin, from the 50-cent bin. I bought so many because they were so cheap, and then I was like, Magnus Robot Fighter, holy crap! But yeah, so like the whole lineup got almost the whole lineup got a reboot in the 2000 somethings.
How do those look?
Surprisingly. So, like...
I'm picturing them real gritty and raw.
No, it was very standard, honestly. So, yes, they were a little bit more raw, but they were owned by one of the big companies. So, they weren't going to show, like, constant blood or, like, really bad violence or something. But they had these characters for free, basically. And they're like, let's try a reboot. It lasted a little while. I don't know, a few trade paperbacks worth or whatever. But I remember reading that back in the day and being like nostalgic. Even in 2007 or whatever.
Yeah, right.
From 2000 or from 94 or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my suggestion is if you like comics in any way, shape, or form, and don't mind reading a lot. If you don't like, It's not like the really old school comics where the entire square is writing and you have a
It
tiny
wasn't,
little
when
drawing.
I looked, it wasn't as bad as I thought.
Yeah, but there's a bunch of
There's still a lot,
squares
yeah.
and like there's a lot of exposition, a lot of talking back and forth. But honestly, this one with Jim Shooter killed it.
Nice. All right, man. Well, I got L this time. So, like I said, I wanted to read this last time, but didn't get into it, didn't get it. So this is called The Last Book You Will Ever Read. I asked my English major wife, you don't count the thes. So last book you'll ever, it's still
Because
the
at the
last.
library, if they did that, it would be 20 shelves of the.
Exactly. It would be so big.
Or they use the author's name. That's the other way.
So this is a vault comic.
Nice.
The last book you'll ever read. It's a colon bun joint. I didn't mean to do colon bun again.
Yeah.
But dude's writing is incredible. I love it.
He's prolific.
Yeah, dude. Lee Lillette's artist, and colorist is Giada Marquisio, and Jim Campbell is letterer. We've heard that name before.
The letterer?
Jim Campbell.
Yeah.
I know we've heard that. Okay, so this girl, her name is Olivia Kade. She wrote a book called Seder. All right, so it came out a few weeks ago. So a lot of the beginning of these comics, there's 8 comics. They breeze through. I'm going to read every single page on all 8 comics.
Because the original was a novel? Is that
No.
Oh,
this is just full 8 issues. That's it. There's no more after it. So in the story, Olivia Kade is the author. She wrote this book called Seder. Now, each comic begins with like narration, basically her reading from her book.
Okay.
So that's kind of how this starts. There's narrating. So the whole point of the book, I'll read a little bit. Well-crafted. Civilization is a lie. It's well-crafted. We have been conditioned to be well-behaved when we're actually not. We've been housebroken. The truth, though, is that hidden deep in our cells, there's a part of our primal brain that's all impulse and instinct. That's basically what the whole book is basically saying. Civilization is deteriorating, and we are turning into impulsive, instinctual beasts again. So she's reading it, we're never more alive than when we hunt. We know the lie is breaking down, and which idea frightens us more, that, we've been misled to be this sheltered, domicile existence, or that the hidden truth excites us, predator or prey. Deep down, we know that we're neither, we're both. We're prey up until the moment we decide to hunt. Inevitability plays a role, but we make the choice to show our fangs, right?
Okay.
So as she's saying all this, they're showing this man on a bus, and he's getting side-eyed. He's getting the hairy eye from these 2 young dudes. Now, when he jumps off the bus, they follow him. They follow him into an alley, and they grab him by the neck, and they go, he goes, "What do you want? Please, I don't have much, but take it." They said, "This ain't a fucking robbery, it's a culling." So you hear someone screaming, and when it cuts back, the 2 young men are on the ground with their insides just ripped to shreds.
Disemboweled.
They are dead. And the dude is in a suit, bloody face, just chomped into him, used his hands. Dude went crazy, right? Slaughtered him. So he's walking back wherever, and he's wrapped up in his suit, and he's trying to covered in blood. Covered in blood,
Yeah.
dude. So Olivia Kade is in there. She's still reading from her book. Life is a child security blanket. It's warm, comforting, and more likely in need of a good cleaning. It's a blanket with a loose thread. It's unraveling. We'll be left naked, uncertain, with nothing to warm us but our blood. So the whole book is really about, like I said, we're predator, prey. Civilization is deteriorating. It is turning from our sheltered existence to all impulsive and instinctual stuff.
We're going backwards.
We are turning into beasts. Yeah, exactly. So she has her assistant, Willow, and she's like, thank you for joining us for reading the pages. She'll be signing. So a bunch of fans come up, and she's like, "Oh, I love this book." The other guys are like, "Hey, this shit sounds interesting. I don't read stuff like this, but I'll check it out." And one woman's holding a baby. She's like, "I don't understand any of it, but I like it." And one dude's like, "It's porn, right? Just tell me it's porn." And then she gets a book that's covered in blood, and she's like, "Oh, this one's been loved, huh? It's only been a few weeks." And she gets attacked by the woman who hands it to her, tackles her, and now the speech bubbles are white with red writing. It says, "Prophet, offer up yourself, give yourself over, the wilding wants your blood." So this old lady's on top of her. Her eyes are red. She looks a little pale. She's slobbering everywhere. So the cops come in. They're like, get off her. They pull her off. And Willow and Olivia Kade are talking. And she's like, this is the worst one yet.
Huh.
So it's happened before.
Yeah.
She's like, do you see her eyes? She looked like she was going to kill me. Now this old lady slaps the shit out of a cop, scratches his face, and then rips one of their necks out. And then that dude's dead. So she sees them and takes off running. She's like, the prophet must be willing to die for the truth. The cop she scratched shot her dead. So now it's showing like the world reacting to this. It's two guys on the radio talking about like one guy saying, this is ridiculous. It's not the book. And the other guy saying, well, since the book has come out, there's been an uptick in violent crimes. And he's like, what are you saying? This book warrants, two guys on a podcast arguing on two different sides about what this book could possibly be doing to people. Why are they responding violently? It's showing people burning books in the library. It's showing people break windows. It shows this woman ripping someone's ear off. This other woman is just sitting there covered in blood next to a dead body while the cops are just staring at her. So
damn,
shit's going down. It's getting crazy. So Olivia's at home and she's like, the cops, Willow, her assistant, is telling her the cops will be outside. They make a joke. Hey, do you need me to stay? She's like, no, I'm fine. She looks at her books, stack of the books after Willow leaves, and the books hiss at her. And it's like red writing. So she goes to this place called Vigilant Eye. As she's staring out the window of this downtown building, her reflection changes to the red-eyed person. So there's a lot of that in this book. It's a lot of shit they see. It's not clear if it's in their head. Are they actually seeing it?
Okay.
I think that's in their head, and they are actually seeing. I think it's both.
Oh, okay.
Like she's
They
doing
don't explain it full out.
No, they
Okay.
don't. So we meet this guy, Connor Price. Connor Price is the leader of this executive protection team. He's a badass. They talk to each other, and he's like, you're getting death threats. She's like, yeah, listen, I'm going on tour. And he's like, that's stupid. If you're getting death threats, don't go on tour.
Worst thing you could do.
And she's like, it's not your place to say that. I'm hiring you, protect me. And he's like, all right, I'll do it. But, that's, like I said, it's not the best idea. And she says, have you read my book? And he goes, no. She says, good. I need someone who hasn't read it. So we cut back to the old man who killed the two guys. He goes home, sees his wife. His wife starts yelling at him. And now she's narrating again, reading from her book about we're beast, we're feral, lies provoke us, and we're vicious when we're provoked. This man straight up slaughters his wife. He's holding her hands and then out of nowhere kills her.
Damn.
Bites into her with his human teeth and just dude, look at this real quick.
Let me see.
It's bloody.
Ooh.
It's
He
raw.
bites into her, like, what is that, her shoulder or neck?
Yeah, shoulder, neck. Yeah, he gets I guess it looks more like her shoulder.
Yeah, shoulder-ish.
Pretty
Yeah,
raw,
that's
though.
gnarly.
And then he just sits down and then he starts reading Seder. He just picks the book up and starts reading it.
Okay.
So like
Weird.
I said, we're going fast. I'm already on issue 2.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
They're on the tour bus. They're headed out on this tour. The guys are like, it's a grift, right? Look, she doesn't believe what she's actually writing.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
No
yeah.
way people are getting violent. Why doesn't she want us to read it? And he's saying, she doesn't want it to influence our opinion of her. I agree, man. This is a job. We're here to protect her. Who cares what she wrote? He's
Okay.
not worried about
They're
it.
not trying to be fans.
No, he's like, we don't, and he even says that we don't need to be fans. But he's like the other guy saying it's a hoax, right? Like the downfall of society. We're descending into viciousness and cruelty, which, let me say, the writing
be
in this
friggin'
is
obvious.
incredible.
Is it?
Yeah, dude, it's amazing. Colin Bunn kills it. Like when he does her sections of the book, they're awesome. Like I debated reading them out loud like multiple times, and I was like, I decided against it, but they are really good. If you go read this, even after me telling you, you will get so much from it because the writing, like I said, is incredible.
It's just good.
For sure. So they're and they go to their first stop, and Connor steps up and he's like, all right, everyone shut the fuck up. Listen, you two lead. I'm behind the client. We get straight in and there's protesters outside. They're holding signs like, burn those books. We're not beasts. Who do you think you are? Cancel the signing. Get out of here. We don't want you here. A lot of people are pissed.
Yeah.
So they start walking in. Now, as Olivia's walking through the crowd, she's seeing like certain faces kind of like change. So this guy looks normal. He's just yelling. This next chick has these creepy eyes staring right at her.
Some
she
people
notices,
are sticking out.
very much so. So she's reading her book again. going off about the descent and the madness and we're beasts. I mean, it's all that. So they really hammer home what it is. I mean, she's like, it's not that we have forgotten our true selves. It's that our true selves can barely accept the neutered, pitiful, sad wretches we have become. We are civilized. We are wild. One aspect of our being cannot rationalize the existence of the other. It's like we water at the mouth when we sense prey. So that's what she's going off on. So as she's talking about this, basically let your inhibitions run. Don't be civil or wild, rules of lust, you know?
Yeah.
And at this time,
do thou what will.
They hear moaning, and they walk down an aisle in the library, and these two people are just smushing right in the middle of the aisle. And their eyes are red. You see their veins sticking out. They're slobbering. They look very much like the people who attacked her.
Yeah.
But they're just fucking in the library or the bookstore. So they get pulled out. The lady's like, they're like, you can continue. And she's like, simple matter of giving into our instincts. It feels good. So they go to the hotel. He's like, we do our sweep. Willow's going to get the room. Olivia's like, I need a drink. Basically talks Connor into it. He's like, listen, goddamn it. He's on his job. He's like, that's not a good idea. Like, go to your room. There's drinks there.
Yeah.
He's like, and now that she's there at the bar, she's like, send all my bags up to her. And he's like, fuck, all right. I guess I got to go drink with you. So they end up chatting. They start digging each other, right? He's a cool dude. She's cool. The way they speak, they're very connecting.
Yeah.
They fit each other. They're yin to yang. They fit each other very well. Two puzzle pieces type shit. So they're on the bus. He's looking out the window like a goober, smiling. She's staring at him, longing. Oh, you know, they're digging each other. So they get to, oh yeah, it's right here. Look, that's why I said he looks like a goober.
Okay.
He's just pretty.
Yeah.
So they get to the next bookstore, next reading. More people out there with signs, screaming, yelling. One dude starts getting close and he starts yelling like, you are not the voice. There are no words, only howls. And you see his eyes go red and he changes, like almost fangs grow, kind of. But then his speech bubble switches to red and it's like, the wildling will have you. Nothing else happens to this. It skips ahead to them at a bar. So I'm guessing she went and read. Nothing else of consequence happened.
Okay.
So they're at the bar. Connor and Olivia are chatting. And she's like, you were so in control. Like, it's almost scary. Like, you were so chill with those protesters. And he's like, my strategy, my philosophy, no one should get hurt. Like, no one. Not even the bad people. They shouldn't get hurt. And she's like, well, the world's changing and it might not be the way you like it. So these three big old hillbillies come up and they're like, we seen you on the TV. You're the one saying we're beasts, right? That me and my boys are responsible for the collapse of civilization. And he says, when it's really that smut you're peddling, immediately Connor is drinking and he's like, go away, leave us alone, man. We're not those people.
Right.
And the guy says that, it's that smut you're peddling. Next thing, he's smashing his head into the table.
Nice.
And I mean, like, it's immediate. That's him yelling, and then that's him. And he just kicks the shit out of these three dudes.
That was
real
really
quick.
good.
And they bail. Olivia's like in the hall, like, oh, you were so awesome. They immediately smush. So they're doing that now. They're together. She's at a next bookshop doing another stop of the tour. She's reading, again, talking about it. They're looking at each other, stealing glances, thinking, seeing each other naked and smashing and everything. So
new relationships.
yeah, very exciting, right? Can't take his eyes off her. So he does walk out of the store, looks down, he finds one of the protest signs. Says, we are not animals. People obviously disagreeing with her. Big deal, apparently.
Yeah.
So this part's just showing how into each other. He's got scratches on his neck, and that's from her clawing at him. They getting freaky, real freaky. So they're riding through the woods. Does never say where they are at, like anywhere. Doesn't say they're in America even, but I assume they are. They're driving through the woods. She sees this like weird devil thing in the bushes. Exclaims. The guy's like, Connor's like, Olivia, and she doesn't say anything. Then she sees a tiger. There's a tiger in the bushes, and then the tiger walks out into the road as they drive by. It's weird. Willow's sleeping. They're trying to chat, and then their tire pops.
Okay.
So the bus driver's like, is everyone okay? Like, let's go check it out. What happened? You know, Connor's, everyone staying here. We're going to go check it out. So what they find is a spike strip, and they're like, this wasn't on accident. So they hear something, and when they look, it's a herd of naked people.
Oh shit!
And they're all, looking crazy. I mean,
The
dude,
crazy eyes.
There's fat dudes, there's fat women, there's bad women, there's dudes rocking hog legs, there's little dick dudes, there everyone. Fat, skinny, old, no kids, but all you know what I mean? Every type of person in there. And Connor's immediately like, "Who are you?" And the other guy says, "Hey, they're just standing there. They're not attacking." And then suddenly they get swarmed from behind. So he's like, "They're everywhere. They're behind us." They start punching, kicking. They're fighting. They're getting swarmed like by so many naked people. Like there's a lot.
Yeah.
Like
Holy crap.
Straight up. Look at that.
It's gonna be a nightmare doing this on the YouTube channel. God damn it.
Oh yeah, no, you're not gonna have fun with this one. I thought that while I was reading it. I was like, poor
Damn
Adam. Poor Adam's gonna have to be real selective about these.
I'm gonna have to zoom in and blur out.
There's
and
so
shit.
much of them having sex too.
Oh fuck.
And there's
okay.
so many shots of naked
I'll
satyrs.
be prepared.
Yeah, I'll warn you beforehand.
God
so
damn it.
all these naked folks are like trying to break in the bus. One of the security members, the team guys, were like, "They aren't after me. They're not after us. They just ran past us."
Oh, okay.
So they're attacking Olivia. They're all going for her. They're screaming, there. She's running in the woods. Get her. So she gets away. They hide for a second. They get found by another guy who screams, "The wildling will have you." And he attacks her. Connor's immediately like, "Olivia's out in the woods. I'm gunning after her." So they're still fighting some of the few naked people. And they're not just fists. They have bats. Whatever they find.
Yeah, I saw a
I think
little bit.
one guy bit a tire. Yeah, these people are hardcore. They made a comment about how are they so fast? So they're faster than regular people. So he runs in the woods. See, this is what I mean. I don't know if this is like morality, civil thought just breaking down as he's running. He catches a glimpse of that. And then
not sure.
And then catches a glimpse of that. I don't know if that's just
Oh,
shit
that
in
is
his
what
head.
he's thinking.
Yeah, it's just images, dirty, crazy.
Ethereal sex smut.
So he
stuff.
sees her as a satyr, a sexy ass red satyr.
Oh, she looked good. In
Yeah,
the
she did.
pictures,
Look,
that's for sure.
She did look
She
good.
looked like a succubus. Like a hot, fine ass succubus.
She bad. The hair, don't even care on the arms and legs. Don't even bother me. But
it's all soft and smooth. What are you talking about?
yeah, it
Don't
would
care.
be soft. Yeah.
Love that shit.
And even warmer. So he's running in the woods. He finds Willow, and he's like, she says, "They came after us." And then he's like, "Olivia," and she says, "It came out of the woods. It leapt out at us, and it killed all the naked people that were attacking her. It was the fucking tiger sitting on a tree branch."
The one she saw. Okay.
Yeah, and he goes, I think it's protecting me." And Connor's like, "We need to get the fuck out of here," because the tiger's looking at them, growling. And like as they walk away, the tiger's, getting
Oh,
ready.
damn. The tiger looks cooler than the rest of everything combined.
The tiger looks sick as hell.
I'm not super into the art, but the tiger
don't
is
mind
super
it.
well done.
I don't mind the art.
Yeah?
I actually enjoy it. The faces are not the greatest, but I guess we'll do
It's
how
got
the
thick
faces.
lines and whatnot.
The faces aren't consistent, and that's literally my only concern. If they were consistent, I would have. I mean, I barely have a problem with them being inconsistent.
It's not
That's
bad.
part of
It's just not my thing.
Sometimes it's the charm of people's art, but when it gets to these crazy pages with the satyrs and shit,
Yeah.
like it's awesome.
The full page, yeah, real good.
So despite being slightly inconsistent, the faces are fine.
Yeah.
The art's great. The writing, everything is great. So yeah, that was How Are the Faces. They're getting visited by the cops now. State patrol's coming by. They're looking at the dead body, and they're like, "You say a tiger fucking saved you?" And this guy's talking to Connor, saying, "This world's going crazy. Like, my holding cell is full of people who are like stark raving mad."
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "A lot of people think Miss Cade's responsible, that the book's driving wild." And he's like, "Did you read it?" And the cop's like, "Hell no, I didn't read it." It's like, "I don't need to. Look, if my shit was causing such a stir, I wouldn't be doing a book tour shoving it down people's faces like this." And Connor kind of is saying, "Yeah, we agree on that for sure."
Yeah.
So Olivia and Willow are in there talking about it. She's watching a talk show on her phone that literally dissolves into fighting. Like, he goes, "What do any of you don't understand the wilding?" And they just start attacking each other, like live on air, like while people are outside.
Oh,
so
okay.
the world is now from slowly to quickly de-evolving, basically,
Yeah.
to where it was in these bookstores where she was to it's on TV now. those radio hosts are probably fighting right now. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's what it was showing. Yeah.
So
yeah.
she's
It's rough.
saying it's not a curse. It's not some sort of spell. I still, whatever it is, I got it wrong. And then she goes, can you feel it? And the prisoners, all regular speech bubbles, are like the wilding. Death to the prophet. Let us out. Let us have her. And then again, black text, regular speech bubbles. The wilding wants her blood. Give her to us. Death. Let us feed. And Olivia's like, it's so sudden. Now all of them are red speech bubbles. Let us out. Feed the beast. The prophet must die. Give us what we want. She says, it's here. If fucking followed me here. She's like, we need to get out of here. They're changing. So she's looking at everyone. The prisoners are yelling in red speech bubbles.
Yeah.
They're screaming about the prophet. Don't let her spread her lies. Kill her. She's leaving. The cops just walk up to the cell and unlock the door. Let all the prisoners out.
Huh.
So this dude in a bus, old school, like stereotypical hippie bus, rolls up and he's like, you're Olivia Kade. Oh shit, this is incredible. Hey, listen, you need to get out of here. Here's my keys. Like, take it. Just don't even talk. Just get the hell out of here. She's like, you can't stay here. They're going to kill you. Like, I don't even know who you are. Come with us. And he's like, I can't go where you're heading. So they get in the bus. Connor's like immediately he's like, I don't give a fuck about this dude.
I'm out.
He's like, let's go.
Yeah.
So he takes off the prisoners, the cops, everyone's chasing him. Mm-hmm. That poor old hippie is getting ripped apart by these naked folks and prisoners. And he's still like, as he's dying, he's like, can't believe I just saw Olivia Kade right in front of me. Wow. So he's ripped to shreds. Prisoners are all yelling in their red speech bubbles about the prophet. She must die, all that shit. So they're now cruising in the hippie van. They're riding for a while. He's, musing to himself, like, what's really happening? They go to the next stop on the tour. First off, what the fuck? Like,
Still
you
going
see
on
what's
tour?
happening? Why are you going?
Still going on tour.
Like, what? Like, I don't know what I would do at this moment, in all honesty, but fuck,
Yeah,
I don't know
not
if I'd
going
keep,
tour.
I don't know if I'd keep
Not
going.
fucking go on tour.
So she's in a tent, like, reading her book to all these people. No crazy eyes in this one. Now, Connor is off. He's reading the book. Out of nowhere, he sees this giant fucking red dinosaur with antlers.
Yeah, it's like elk horns.
So
or some
they
shit.
don't really go into why he sees this. I think this is his head.
look cool?
I think it's the de-evolution. I think that's what he's seeing.
Okay.
And it's in his head. Like he was seeing the satyr. Like he's seeing them banging in a
Oh,
flowery
yeah,
field.
yeah, you're right.
It's just the thoughts in his brain, the impulse and instinct. I don't know what this is.
It's your lizard brain.
Or it's the wilding. It's the being
Whatever,
they're all
take-
talking
okay,
about.
yeah.
So she walks out. She clowns him like, you weren't supposed to read the book. And he's like, fuck that. It's just a book. It's not driving people mad. They start kissing. They end up smushing right there in the field outside of the tent. People start pouring out of the tent. He's seeing himself banging that hot satyr chick. And now Willow is just standing there with her book, like, I guess watching them.
Yeah,
just
she
like,
loves it.
What the hell's going on here? No, she looked like, what the fuck? She looks truly lost. So they wake up randomly in this building, and Connor's like, I thought if I stood here long enough, I know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
He's like, do you know where we are? And it shows outside. It's like a commune, like a house, farmhouse.
Okay.
Bunch of people look like some midsummer shit.
Yeah.
Like they're all wearing reefs and little Amish hats. Like,
Bad sign.
yeah, right. So they're like, well, I mean, they're not trying to kill us, so I guess
Doesn't
we're
matter.
okay. So they go outside and they're like, Olivia, good morning. People are reading her book. People are having little sermons where a bunch of people are listening to a guy read her book. She introduces them to everyone. She's like, I've never heard my shit read to me. This is weird. They see Willow and she's in a big flowery white dress with a wreath on her head. Or what is it? Wreath?
Yeah.
Yeah, like flower wreath.
Yeah.
So they're like, the main girl's like, I'll let y'all catch up, and walks away. And they're like, Willow, who the hell are these people? Essentially, she says they're fans, but not the crazy fans. They're the good fans.
Yeah,
They say, listen, they hold dear the things you've written in Seder. These people are followers of your word.
Right.
And she pulls out her cell phone and shows like a sermon this guy is giving from the book of Seder. She goes, they're believers. You're their prophet. And she goes, Seder isn't about peace. It's about, and then you hear this cow moos and then takes off. they fucking swarm it and just start biting it with their fucking regular human teeth, tearing into this poor cow's head.
Super hot.
And face. So dirty. Dude pulls a rock, smashes the cow's head. They immediately cook up every fucking piece of it.
Yeah.
And she's like, this isn't what I wanted. Like, I didn't want this. And he was like, what did you want? And she's like, whatever, right. I wanted to be heard. I wanted discourse, but this is wrong. Like, all of this is wrong. So they're like, come on, have a seat. And she's like, I have to admit, though, I am kind of starving. So she's looking at all this food and this meat. And Willow's like, just enjoy yourselves. They're celebrating your work. And she's like, oh, none for me. I'm a vegetarian. So now the boss mom comes out. She's wearing antlers, crazy flower crown on her head.
Yeah.
Big old dress, big, long, flowy white hair. She's obviously in charge. And she's like, no, you're not. You're a meat eater, a carnivore. So she is now basically preaching Olivia Kade's word to Olivia.
Her.
Yeah, and
Okay.
Olivia's like kind of fighting it. Like, you know, the collapse of the civilized world, the rise of something better, the wildling. She's like, I never wanted this. She's like, it doesn't matter what you wanted. It doesn't matter what you thought. Desire and intent are afterthoughts. We are all creatures of instinct. Connor has just started eating, and this dude is sitting there smiling like a dumbass, just like
So good.
like a little son, like a little boy who doesn't know what his mom and dad are talking about. He's just like,
Wants to participate.
I'm here.
Agree.
Everyone's
Yeah.
together. I'm happy.
Gotcha.
She starts kind of putting the food towards her mouth. She starts eating it now, and they are sitting to talk about. So you put too much faith in humanity. You thought you could sell them this idea in their own words with this book.
Okay.
And you put too much faith in humanity because those who resist instinct, and now Olivia steps in. She goes, the book is a survival guide. And the woman goes, yeah, you remember survival, continuation. All that is for those who embrace the wildling. And for those who don't, says it's your book. And she goes, the wildling eats them alive. She says, come with me. So they walk off. Connor gets up. He walks away. He's following the crowd. They all get up. Some of them take their plates. They all walk off. So he just starts randomly following them, just like, okay. He
I'm so
goes out.
happy.
Yeah. So he goes out in this clearing, and there's this giant statue with antlers. It looks sick.
The
Covered-
ritual.
Yes.
Do you remember
Yep,
that
Yep.
movie? It looks like the first.
This isn't a creature, but
No,
yeah.
it looks like the first statue or wooden
Yes.
idol.
So
that they found.
it's a giant statue with antlers, skulls, fingers,
Looks
eyes,
awesome.
body
Looks
parts
dope.
all over. It's fucking proper disgusting and super rad. So he sees it and he's like, "What the hell?" He freaks out. So look, I'm already on issue 6.
Okay.
It goes so fast, bro.
Yeah.
Like I told my wife, if you ever asked me what
quick
comic
read.
should I read, I would be like, start with that one. Not start, but I mean read that one.
one of the ones,
If
yeah.
you're one of them people who kind of like horror stuff and weird shit, this is so for you. Like this is dope.
Yeah.
So if it's interesting, I would turn off now because this is where you kind of start getting
getting the actual
idea of everything. Yeah. So the woman takes her into a room. There's a red book on a pedestal, and she says, "This is what you wanted. What is this?" And she says, "Read it." She even comments like, "This is old. I can feel the dust on my fingertips. I can feel the pages rotting.
Ugh.
I don't understand." She goes, "Read it." And she starts reading all her words. So all of her words, it's Seder.
Yeah. Okay.
And she's like, I don't understand. These are my words. Where did this come from? And the woman says, my mother used to read me this book. She read the words. She believed them, but she couldn't hear them. Not like you. So it cuts back to Connor, who's like, what the hell's going? What is this dead person statue here? They all freak out. They go, you shouldn't be here. You read the words. You don't understand. You don't believe. Hold him. Feed the beast. So I'm assuming he's about to get turned into one of those statues. And so the mom cuts back to Olivia, and the older woman is telling her, you should be honored. You were chosen. Through you, the message has at long last been heard. So she is shook. Like, these words aren't mine. This was orchestrated. All these ideas came from somewhere else. This is ridiculous. This is interspersed with Connor just kicking the shit out of these people, dude.
Yes.
He is wrecking them. He's choking 2 people at once, kicking someone else in the face. He's a beast, bro.
He choking those 2 dragons.
Yep. It's stabbing dragons.
Stabbing dragons.
He's
Yeah.
stabbing.
Kill both those dragons.
So-
you're so happy.
You're so happy. Stick your tongue out. You're so happy.
So happy about it.
So Olivia freaks out. She takes off running. Connor's like, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Huh.
They run into each other, and they're both like basically like, we need to get the hell out of here. Your
Correct
arms
response.
hurt. Yeah, because he got bit. So she's like, that's going to get infected. He's like, fuck that. Just stop it from bleeding. Let's get away from all this first. So they take off. She's telling him, like, it's not my book. I'm just an emissary. So this is the whole point. The wildling, he wants the world the way it was before civilization. He wants to erase every single step forward we've ever taken. He wants a world of chaos, murder.
He can be in charge
impulse,
and rule that shit.
impulse and instinct. Hey, if
Yeah.
you want to kill your neighbor, do it. You want to go eat that fucking person over there, do it. Like, that's the world. People weren't ready for that until now. Until right now.
Had to devolve.
People were not ready
Exact
to
right
de-evolve
amount.
until the book went out there. And because they mentioned that, so research and statistics show that a lot of these crimes are committed by people who've never read Seder.
Yeah.
So they
you
figured
mentioned
that out
earlier.
later. And so images galore. They're seeing people rising up. They're seeing people fighting in grocery stores. Animals are killing each other. Cities are getting torn apart.
Huh.
Everything is changing. And she is freaking out because she's like, the book was just supposed to ease us into the inevitability, but I basically feel like I made us hate ourselves. You know, and the guy's like, so no, I mean, it's the world's ending and it's not your fault. Like, take the W. That's the wildling shit. That's not your book.
Yeah.
You didn't end the world. And she's like, but what if I could have controlled it? Like, what if I was just chosen for it? And he's like, the world's changed. Regardless of what happens, the world is now different.
Yeah.
Everything has changed,
Fact.
bro. Yeah, fact.
Fact.
Empirically, the world is different now.
Yeah, you can't argue otherwise.
So they're trying to get. This fool was like, you want to go back to the compound, see if they have any answers? She's like, no,
Not a good idea.
I don't want to do that. I don't understand. One group of people love me, the other want to kill me. I don't understand it. So she's like, let's stay away. Let's go hide out somewhere quiet. So they find a town, completely empty town. They're walking through. They're going to look for medicine. They find it. They wrap him up, get him some antibiotics, all that bullshit. So his arm's fine. They take a turn down a street and they find about 10 of those statues that he found in the woods.
Yeah.
So he goes, okay, I get it now. These are where the non-believers go. This is where everyone in the town that didn't believe what your little compound of people over there believed in, they killed them. And it's been a few short weeks. So they went hard, fast, bro.
That's gnarly.
So now they're getting attacked by a group of people. Willow's with them, and she's like, you've been corrupted. You've turned into a false prophet. So they all attack. Connor's kicking ass again. Olivia's running away. Some of the people that are like her people, the prophet or the church of Seder,
okay. Yeah.
they're fighting people. So like, protect the prophet, and they're like, you're a false prophet. So it's like a war between
multiple sides.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
okay.
basically, the books make them either want to kill for her or kill her.
Okay.
So you hate her or you love her. That's what the books do. It's weird. It's crazy. So, again, she's reading from her book, just narrating these images, this part of time with parts from her book.
Okay.
Basically showing that, yeah, she's completely right. Like, this is what the wildling wants.
Damn.
This is why the words were written. This fool's about to bite Willow right in the throat. Like, he's about to rip into her, and she's like, don't, leave her alive. He runs off, and she's like, come back. He takes off. So she's talking to Willow, and it's showing images, like I said, people eating animals, wolves attacking kids, people eating each other.
Dogs and cats getting along. Chaos. Pandemonium.
So Connor takes off running through the woods on all fours. Nah, he's running through the
He's
woods, though.
running.
So
Regular running.
regular running. So her and Willow are talking like, hey, does friendship still mean anything? She's like, listen, the world's fucked. Like, friendship has to mean something. So it seems like Willow snaps out of it for a second.
Right.
And then she snaps back into it. She's like, you should have let them kill me. if you hadn't let yourself become corrupted, you would know. And she was like, goodbye, Willow. So
Annoying.
She walks off, goes in the woods, finds this fool at a stream drinking from it. And she's like, are you okay? And he's saying, I'm not a monster if that's what you're asking. I won't kill you. Hey, whatever's happening with the world, can we stop it? And he goes, do you want to? And that's when he asks, so we go back to the commune. So they get chased, more naked folks, because they're everywhere now.
Love it.
They get chased. They're hiding. They almost get found. These two dudes, one of the guys in the group of naked people and Connor have a stare off. And the guy ends up losing the game of chicken and is like, there's no one over here, and walks away.
Nice.
He basically pictures Connor like ripping him in half.
Oh, that's a good
That
page.
was sick. And
That's
like
good.
basically killing his whole crew. So he's like, no one's over here.
We're good.
Connor's now envisioning her as a satyr again, banging on top of a bunch of demons and stuff.
Satyrs were looking fine.
Yeah, she is for show. So she goes, we need to get back to town, find a car. You know, she's telling him, look, the world's hitting a restart button. I know where I need to go. Basically, let's stay on this path, the path of the book tour. I'm supposed to be doing this the whole time.
Okay.
So they almost hit some deer. A new group of people walk out. They're all wearing masks. They're carrying some captives. And they go, oh, my God, the wilding granted us our gift, this gift. The prophet is here. Let us sacrifice to you. So they're basically about to kill these captives for her.
Okay.
Connor is like, hell no, like, move. And he puts on the gas. They runs over them. And they're tripping. They're like, don't refuse our offering. Prophet, don't leave us. He bounces. And she's like, so now she's talking about this is when the wildling meant this to happen. And he goes, well, people who read your book want to kill you. Others want to kill for you. You know, and he's like, says something about, do you think God was happy with the way the Bible turned out? And she's like, you know, what are you suggesting that the wildling listened to me? Because she had mentioned that a quote that she didn't put in her book. She's like, that was a part I was going to put in my book, but didn't. And he's like, so maybe you did have some control over this. You did have somewhat of a choice. Maybe the wildling chose you to do this, not through you, but chose you to do this.
Okay.
He trusted that
She was
you
qualified?
qualified. She wasn't going to put that in there because it didn't belong in there. Okay. You know, like how Christians think the Bible, you know what I'm saying? It's like it was written for that time and also this time because of what was
needed.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of how they're painting Seder. So he mentions, you know, how do you think God thought about the Bible? And she was like, let's go ask him. So this is now they're heading to their last spot. Shows them banging in a flowery field. You're going to have fun with this issue, by the way. So they're in some abandoned hotel banging. She's like, he goes, I thought we were trying to rest. She's like, we tried. So, you know, let's get up out of here. So they bounce. They get in a car. They're walking through this abandoned area. There's dead bodies, animals eating bodies. There's all types of shit. He goes, where are we headed? And she said, keep driving east. We're almost to the end of the tour. He's like, the tour? You make it sound we've always been on this path. And she's like, yeah, we have. That's exactly where we're supposed to go. So she's talking about they either love me or they want to kill me. I feel like this is how the wildling's going to be. I might be welcomed or I might be mauled and devoured. So as they're driving down the street, there's just naked people running with wolves. They're not even chasing them. They're just running.
They're doing the thing.
They're just doing their thing. Yeah, exactly. So he goes, I won't let that thing kill you. And she goes, you can't kill the wildling. The wildling can't be killed. So he goes, we're here. You know, how do we recover? No matter what, it's a new world. Nothing's going to be the same. She picks up one of her books that was burned on the street. She says, meat for the beast. They get attacked by a bunch of naked people. They get saved by the church of the Seder people.
Okay.
They're all fighting. Now she walks to the water, and now there's this island surrounded, right? Surrounded by water. That's what an island is.
No,
I'm
that's
an
what
idiot.
that is?
Yeah. So she gets on a boat. There's a dude waiting for her on the boat, and he's like helping her in. She tells Connor, you're fired, you know, and he's like, hey, listen, when you talk to the wildling, like try and cut out like a nice, chill, quiet corner for us. Right? She's like, I don't think that's how it works. He's like, and then she's worried because she's like, what if what I want and what the wildling wants feels the same? What if we want the same? So now Connor out of nowhere begins speaking in the red text. He goes, no matter what, nothing will be the same and we'll find a way to build something new. He made a point of it speaking in red text, meaning he was like, I guess, controlled by the wilding.
Part of it
He
or
said, I can
whatever.
fight my instinct, so it's still me. That was a little part of it. Like I
Okay.
said, there's a lot more you're going to get
Yeah,
from this.
yeah.
So, herd of naked people behind him, clothed people, church of Seder, naked folks, everyone's there. Some of them are like, she gets in the boat, starts paddling across. Some of them are yelling, come back, we might worship. And someone's like, come back here and die.
Yeah.
And then someone's like, fuck you. And they're like, death to the prophet. So some of the ones that love her and some of the ones that hate her start walking into the water and they just drown. I guess it's not their impulse or instinct to save themselves. So they start drowning, and Connor is now narrating passages from her book. You know, when we hunt, we're prey until we become predator. So he's like psyching himself up. He grabs a fucking stake and he's like, are we predator or are we prey? He goes, swims all the way to the island and gets out. And the dude on the boat that took her over there, he's like, wildling can't be killed. And he goes, we'll see. And that's the end.
No shit.
That's the end, bro.
What the fuck?
That's it.
they don't ever continue it? That
Dude,
was actual end?
the world's changed.
Yeah.
It's either going to
You
continue.
said that.
Yeah,
You
but
said
I mean,
that,
I'm
yeah.
saying it's either going to continue like that or the wildling's going to die and they'll
burn it
start
down.
over.
He's going to burn it down.
Yeah, it's yeah. Dude, so this book was rad, bro.
What was it called again? Say it again.
The last book you'll ever read.
The last book you'll ever read.
Yeah,
awesome.
man. Lot of sex, a lot of violence.
The titties were boundless. That's
So
for sure.
many
I'm gonna have
titties.
to blur. Or
It's got a
put
lot of
something.
flipping pages.
Oh my
logos
god,
on
little
this-
purple flipping pages. Yeah,
on all these pictures. There's a lot.
I saw. I looked a little bit.
Yeah,
God
you
damn,
don't even
bro.
know, bro. There's so much.
It's just gonna take me forever.
So, dude, this was a dope book. If you any kind of inkling to like horror, that crazy
Oh, I love
horror stuff, I think you would love this.
Yeah.
It's a great story. This Colin Bunn joint, man. Colin Bunn kills it.
Yeah, I remember him.
One of my favorite writers
Yeah.
now, bro. He did
He's a good Steve Niles for you.
yeah, exactly. I've done 3 of his books so
Yeah.
far. Lamentation and Unholy Grail.
Unholy Grail. So, okay, so that's who he was. I thought I
Yeah.
remembered, but I wasn't positive.
Yeah, and he did Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. That one we have right there in that
Yes.
shelf. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So he
So
kills
good.
it. He's awesome. This book was great though, dude. The art was fantastic, in my opinion. I know it's not your style.
Not my thing, but it wasn't. It didn't bother me.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
I found no parts were confusing. Like it might have been weird with me telling it. I hope I did a good
it's
job.
different to tell it to
It
read
is.
it.
Yeah, like I said, if you do pick this up and read it, it's only 8 issues. Vault Comics, if you find it, and you will get so much more from it than what I've told you.
You went the outline.
I did,
You
exactly.
outlined it.
Yeah, the dialogue is fantastic. The way they talk to each other, you really feel them connect and fall in like with each other, love, lust, whatever
Right.
you want to call it. You feel their connection. You see Willow kind of go from who she was to where she ended up.
There's an arc. There's an actual arc to it. I got you.
And
That's awesome.
And the way the people de-evolve over 8 issues is crazy. How it went from arguing to straight mass murder in the
Yeah.
streets, like insane, awesome comic book. Dude, 10 thumbs up.
Hell yeah. Bing, bang, boom. It's on.
All right. See, you're excited because you're winning.
I destroy your face every time.
All right, so
I
this
could have
is,
said some way different,
I thought
and then
you
we
were,
would have had to
but-
edit it out.
I'm gonna edit it out anyway. I edit out a lot of your crap.
Yes,
but-
you do.
All right, so this is our segment, Matt versus Adam. It's where we take a random character generator online. We see who will win between who I get and who he gets. We're doing DC today, and
You go first, bitch.
No, you go first.
I wanted you
I
to
always go
first.
first, and then I lose.
That's why I win.
Yeah, I think so.
Because your dumbass goes first.
I think so. No
I'm just
cheating.
gonna keep,
No,
I'm gonna
I
keep
saw
tapping
you.
it.
Stop tapping it.
God damn it!
Who'd you get?
God damn it! I'm not gonna click it. Look,
Don't.
look.
Hawkgirl.
A,
She's strong
a
enough.
regular
Bro,
superhero,
but
though.
if I get like Batman,
yes,
fucking
yes,
Nightwing,
but they have gods on this random.
they do.
Don't touch that shit again, bro.
I got Zatanna.
Okay.
You got Hawkgirl?
Yeah.
All right.
I can tell you who wins right now, but I mean, we'll argue about it still.
Who wins?
You do.
Yeah, Zatanna. I thought so.
So let me do my powers
No,
and
we got
skills
Dr.
first.
Fate. We talked about her, but we never got
During
her.
it, right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so let me do my powers and skills. My powers/skills are reincarnation, so that's actually insanely strong. I forgot that it's like the same love triangle between her and Hawkman or whatever. They loved each other 20,000 years ago, whatever. They keep getting reincarnated and they
and
love
they
each
find
other.
each other, right?
Yeah. So that's their like, little story. I have animal empathy. Super cool.
Nice.
Combat skills, unarmed combat, martial arts, melee weapons, ranged weapons, medical knowledge, peak human physical conditioning, agility, athletics, combat, dexterity, durability, endurance, speed, stamina, reflexes, strength, gear, nth metal, belt and boots, super strength, super durability, super endurance, super stamina, superhuman reflexes, supervision, accelerated healing, self-sustenance. Oh, damn.
Whoa.
Wings, various melee weapons, and that's the actual end.
Okay.
So, way stronger than I thought. I knew she wasn't
Yeah.
a pushover.
I knew that.
I knew that, but I'm actually kind of surprised.
Me too, bro. I was like, holy shit.
So without the nth metal, I'm a badass, and then whenever my nth metal guards and whatever, my armor, I'm actually really badass.
So physically, you're definitely stronger.
Oh, physically,
than me.
oh no, I'd whoop you if we were like punching each other.
Yeah.
I'd cave your face in.
Which this is 2 blocks downtown Houston.
Fight on site.
I'm getting coffee. He's begging for change, and it's fight on site.
I was buying a hot dog on the street, meat on the street, Matt.
We had some meat on the street.
It
So
was
all right,
delicious meat on the street.
Are you ready for mine?
Yeah,
'Cause
fuck
this
it.
is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I told you who
I
would
definitely
win.
win, yeah.
I told you who would win.
It's genius level intellect. Hypnosis, meditation,
quick.
occultism, sleight of hand, master escape artist, extensive magical expertise, contacts in black magic market, showmanship, lockpicking, astral projection, master combatant, multilingualism. Now, that's just her.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
magic. This is the fucking ridiculous.
Yeah,
all right,
yeah,
all
let's
right, I'm
hear
gonna
it.
go through this fast. Okay, flight, logomancy, telepathy, telekinesis, pyrokinesis, hydrokinesis, cryokinesis, electro,
Avatar-looking
geo,
motherfucker.
arrow, photo, umbra, chrono, gravitokinesis, gravikinesis,
Yeah.
sorcery,
Time
healing,
and fucking
phasing.
gravity. Jesus
I'm intangible. Deflection, invisibility, teleportation, eldritch blast, force field, transformation, elemental control, atmokinesis, megathokinesis.
They're just making up bullshit now. Motherfuckers.
Esokinesis, dimensional travel, energy construct creation, energy transference, and just as like a little cherry, molecular reconstruction.
That's not good.
So
okay,
even
so
if you can punch me to death,
you
bro,
can reconstruct.
I'm just gonna build myself back
I
up.
reincarnate too, so that's pretty
Okay,
good.
so
But
it's a
you
long
come back
fight.
quicker. You'd come back way quicker than me.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Dude, and a chrono time, gravity, like
Bro.
She's
So she's been around forever.
Dude, her-
Zatanna's an old character.
yeah, her bag is big, bro.
Her feats are endless.
Yeah, and her dad is a beast too. And
She's
yeah.
fought Trigon, right? At
Oh
one
yeah,
point?
yeah, like regularly,
Yeah.
I think, and then fucks with John and all Constantine,
Constantine, you're
his
right.
bad guys.
That's why I
and
knew immediately.
she's part of Justice League Dark. She's a monster.
No
dude.
joke.
So yeah, definitely taking that one. Thank you.
You won it finally.
So
Not catching up, but
Flash would have beat Hawkgirl as well.
yeah,
So I think
yeah.
either one, I
yeah,
was
she
gonna
would.
win.
He would have. But he doesn't have regeneration in those few things that I do.
No,
so if
but
we
it's
killed each other,
time.
I would eventually come back. He would not.
If I'm fast
I'd
enough
argue
to run
it.
back in
we
time.
do a percentage if it was
Yeah,
Flash
yeah,
versus
but
Hawkgirl.
Zatanna's.
No, I knew.
That's a wave of the
I
wand.
freaking knew.
Bro, can't she?
She just
make
talks
up
backwards,
Yes.
and then you die.
She makes up spells as long as she can say them backwards.
She doesn't need a book or a real
no,
spell.
she just
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
needs to say the shit backwards. If she said "shit your pants" backwards, you're shitting your pants.
Or the shit would go back up your butt because she said it backwards.
No, that's how she does the spell.
Fuck you, dude. It's
That's
my
how she
fantasy.
does it.
It's my fantasy.
You're weird. All right, let's not elaborate on
Yeah,
that.
let's not go too deep in on that. Let's just skip over it.
Yep, cut that.
Edit
cut
that.
Cut that.
Cut
Cut that. All right, so we are on Instagram at Flippin' Pages 24, on Facebook at Flippin' Pages with Matt and Adam. New episodes come out every Monday on all podcast platforms and possibly on YouTube. We get to it. Don't
There'll
worry
be
about
videos
that.
eventually.
Yep, they'll be there.
Always.
When you go to check, they'll be there.
When you finally, in 3 years, find our early videos, you can go check, and they will be there.
They will be there. So best way to help us out, rate, review, like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. Whatever platform you listen to it on, if they have a rate or review, it's a little thing for you. It helps us out so much. So if you've done it, we appreciate it because they have done it. Some of them have done
we
it.
see it every once in a while.
Every now and then. So
Yeah,
we
it happens.
appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying it. And if you're just listening, we appreciate that. Yeah, that's the episode. Y'all have a good one.
Bye.